Is that a Man
now.
United shirt you're wearing? What are you wearing? I can't say. It's a bit pixelated, so I can't tell. It looks like a Man United. Now, what is it?
This is my football club that I ran for 12 years.
Right,
it's called
right.
GFA.
I thought you defected for a minute.
I'm on the brink, Sim. I'm on the brink of defecting. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm on the absolute brink.
We're all on the brink at the moment still.
Yeah. What can I say that I haven't been saying for the last 6 months on social media and YouTube channels? And what's the most frustrating thing for me about today's game? It's the fact that still fans want to defend Ange. And Sim, I don't know where you are now. I've only just tuned in, but surely now you can see this manager has to go. Surely.
Nope.
See, I'm going to say something you're not going to like. I'll be respectful though, because we're buddies in that. You are the problem, Sim. You are facilitating what's going wrong at Spurs.
I don't make any of the decisions.
No, but you allow this to continue because what's happening is, Sim, look, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be to the point. There are too many fans like you in the stadium, online, on YouTube channels, on podcasts that are protecting this manager and stopping us from removing him as a fan base. Because if we wanted Ange out, we would go full throttle, Ange out, Levy out, and then the change will happen. We're going to get relegated, Sim, like this. You're defending a manager that's going to relegate us.
I think there's look, I've been through it a million times, but I think the situation is what it is at the moment. I think, obviously, we're playing Leicester today, and look, after today, obviously, as I said last week, in the current situation, I think I'm struggling. He's struggling to kind of maneuver this situation. I don't think Ange is a manager for a relegation battle, and if that's what we're going to get dragged into, then he might have to leave 100%. But I also acknowledge, and I see the context of we've got 13 injuries at the moment. We've had to play 3 teenagers for majority of that game today, and we're running on empty. We're playing all these players because I think 8 of the players who had to play on Thursday. What did you say?
Sim, these are excuses. I'm sorry. Bournemouth have got 9 injuries. Bournemouth.
Yeah, but they're in a different situation. First of all, a lot of their that's a different situation. They're not playing 3 games a week. Their players who have been injured are not as crucial as the players that we've got injured. And we've had it for 2 months. They've had it for like 1 or 2 weeks, this level of injuries. We've literally consistently had these injuries for 3.
They're missing 3 starting players. And our manager, he said, and so many fans said at the start of this season, this squad, they never said this team, they said this squad gets top 4. Everyone knew that we were going to play 2-3 games a week. Everyone knew we were fighting in different competitions. But no one knew we were going to
have 13 injuries, though. 13 injuries.
Of the 16 players that Ange has signed, only a small percentage of those are injured, right? He has got the majority of the players that he signed playing, right? Today, why is he not starting Reggie at left back? Why is he starting Archie Gray at left back when we know, 1 minute, on Thursday, we know Reggie can't play? Why isn't he resting him?
I thought Gray played quite well today. I thought Gray played quite well today, I thought.
1 down or 2, or when we were 1-1 or 2-1 down?
I thought throughout the game, I didn't think Gray was the problem starting him.
Why not start Reggie? No, look, you're missing my point. The point is, Gray now has to play again midweek because we can't rest him because Reggie's not in the European squad. So rather than playing Reggie, who's actually a left back, and then saying, do you know what? Let's not play him every single game because he'll get injured eventually. He plays him there. Why are we inverting the fullback so high up? Leicester got in down the flanks time after time after time again. Why can't we just drop the wing backs and say, let's just be a little bit more pragmatic? Why must we allow Leicester chances? Sim, this Leicester team hasn't won in God knows how long.
Yeah, I understand that.
These are the manager's tactics. He takes off Richarlison. Why not bring on Lancashire, who, guess what, is a striker? You can't blame this on injuries. I don't get it.
I understand those criticisms. I don't wholly disagree with a lot of what you're saying, especially pretend like maybe the changes he could have made. Could he have brought Lancashire on earlier? For sure. I don't know why he didn't bring on Lancashire. That we were crossing the ball into the box and there was no real presence in there. We saw Richarlison could do what's it called in the first half when we were crossing balls in there, and when we had no presence in there, we really struggled to really hurt Leicester. And obviously we only gave Lancashire a few minutes, and I completely get that, and I understand. I'm not saying that's why we lost the game, per se, but I understand those are criticisms you can have of Ange, and I share those criticisms. I'm not necessarily. I think when it comes to the tactical stuff, I do think he's been making tweaks and things like that. I actually do think we've been a bit more pragmatic in recent weeks than we have usually been. Not necessarily to change much, but we have. I think, in my opinion, whether it's by design or being forced back, I think that is what's happened over the last few weeks. I think you've seen the position of the fullbacks is a lot deeper than it has been at the beginning of the season, and that is fact. There are definitely changes there that I've seen, but I think when you're in this run, you're this cycle of playing every 3 days with this amount of injuries every single week and no let up. In fact, it's getting worse. From Thursday, we lost Maddison. Spence wasn't even available from last week as well. We had Sarr, who Andrews admitted after the game today that probably shouldn't have played today, but he really wanted to help and he really wanted to try and save the situation, but he had to play because we had another injury. And so he came into the team. We've just got so many problems to maneuver right now. And I've said for months,
him.
Okay, but you can say he definitely has
he's created this. His training methods and his gung-ho, always playing fifth gear, has caused half of these injuries. I agree that injuries to Bentancur, injuries to Vicario, things like that, I don't blame Ange. But these are the injuries that happen to all clubs. So many of our injuries come down to Ange's training and to his inability to rotate. Whose decision was it to not put Redding Spence in the Europa Cup squad? That's on Ange. So, when we say, but injuries are an excuse, he has caused half of these injuries, and the record also happened at Celtic. So we know there's evidence to prove that Ange, he runs players into the ground. And what do we do? Rather than saying this manager is causing the problem, we're saying, but we've got injuries. He's causing it. We had injuries last season. We fell off the cliff as well. Do you remember?
But still,
last season was different. Anyway, go on.
No, this is the thing, right? With the injuries, you're spot on that half the injuries are on him. Half are not. You know, the Solanke, your Vicarios, your Bentancurs aren't him.
I agree.
Yeah, but all the ones that are muscle injuries and the VDV and Romero situation, that's bordering on negligence, right? Those decisions to play those two in that game and get them injured. Richie coming back on and getting re-injured. He's making his own bad luck. My thing is whether you're Ange in or whether you're Ange out, we've had all these the root cause of the problems at our club lie way deeper than the manager still. So it doesn't make a difference if Ange goes now or not and who we bring through that door. When you have owners and you have Levy sitting at the top of your club wanting to milk it for everything that it's worth, take its value away from being a football club. When I started supporting this team in the 90s, we didn't have a multimedia, we didn't have a F1 track, we didn't have concerts, we didn't have Beyonce, and yeah, we weren't great, but I was at least happy to be a fan. Now I'm disillusioned with everything that's going on at Tottenham Hotspurs. So I can't see how aiming everything at Ange and giving these guys, Levy and Lewis and Enoch, a free pass will get us anywhere. I just don't. I don't get how changing managers will help.
Right. Let me separate the two issues because I don't disagree with you at all. Right. The reason I want Ange out is because I don't think he's good enough at this level, and I've seen more than enough to know he doesn't cut it. The last 12 games we've played, I'm going to compare us to the other teams in that so-called relegation bubble. Crystal Palace have got 20 points, West Ham 15, Man United and Everton both 14 points, Brentford 14, Wolves 10, Ipswich 8, Leicester 7. Guess who's at the bottom? Spurs and Southampton, 4 and 2 points. We are in a relegation battle. Be under no illusion. And what Sim said earlier is spot on. He's not the manager for a scrap. He's not a manager to roll up your sleeves. We got to get dirty. He's a manager that's entertaining. It's who we are, mate. Right? That doesn't work for the situation we're in now. That works at the start.
I don't disagree with. That I don't disagree with. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we can meet halfway. Where we are now, if we want to survive, forget winning. If we want to survive, he's got to go, because he's going to drag us deeper. Because he's only playing one way. He won't do what is needed, because I don't think he's ever been in a situation to know what to do. Regarding Levy and Enoch, listen, I've protested for 4 or 5 years. I was on the front line with Brian Daigle, Ryan Isaacs, Graham, Iggy, everyone. I've been to the Hotspur way on transfer deadline day, trying to support the boys. I've done my bit. I've built a channel that is almost based on Levy out, right? I have banged that drum, and I've always said, change the manager, it won't change, as long as these owners are here. I agree with you on that. However, it's all good and well fans saying the problem's Levy, the problem's Enoch, they're to blame. It's all good and well everyone saying that. But if we don't take action, and I mean either boycott, stage a walkout, mass scale protests, the entire stadium chanting Levy out for 10 minutes non-stop, stop buying merch from the shop, then nothing will change. So if fans are Levy out, Enoch out, or they blame the board, and it's not Ange who they want to blame, then either take action, or please don't take it this the wrong way, either take action or shut up. Because all you're doing is making noise and complaining, and that's not going to get us anywhere. There's 2 separate issues here. I think another manager does a better job with the tools that are currently here, especially in a relegation battle. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, no manager is going to be successful. They'll do better, as in get us higher up the table, maybe top 4, but they won't win trophies under this ownership. But then that's on the fans now to say, right, after 25 years of this, 3 decades of this ownership, we have to stand up and do something. Either force them out by making their position untenable and making it so wretched they don't want to turn up to work, or force them into wanting to change their behaviour and start signing quality instead of quantity. And that means manager and players. And unfortunately, Amir, our fans don't want to do it. Look, there was some good Levy out chants today. There was a big size banner in there at the front of the South
Apparently
Stand.
they tried to take it down.
Of course, because, and Sim, that proves they're rattled.
They are.
The
rattled.
more we do that, and the more fans that do that, the more the club will be backs against the wall. So we as fans, including your channel, my channel, his channel, their channel, that podcast, this Twitter account, that Facebook group, we've all got to say, right, we must stand up against this now, because if not, guys, we are going to get relegated. Imagine.
Stel, can I ask you, in terms of managers, I know you'll probably say Iraola or Silva or all these managers who, are doing very well at the moment. But let's say they don't want to come here mid-season into this mess. They're very happy at their clubs and they're not going to push for a move, and Tottenham aren't prepared to pay their release clauses or whatever. Let's say you're faced with a decision. Either you stick with Ange or you go with Mason until the end of the season. What are you choosing?
Personally, if that's the only option we've got, then I would go with Ryan Mason. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe that I've just said that. But ideally, and I'm being realistic now, forget my fantasies and dreams of Spurs and what they would do, I would go and get Harry Redknapp and say, Harry, 5 months, keep us up. Get someone that can manage the situation. Or go and get a manager that can fight a relegation battle just to keep us up.
Till you go Sean Dyche, something like that.
Sean Dyche at Spurs, fuck my life.
Firefighter.
Just
I
don't.
think
I
there's-
just look.
there's
When,
just-
when you're in a rut, guys. When you're in a rut, what you need to do in a rut is cut the rut. And the only way you cut a rut, something has to change. Something. And in this case, it has to be Ange. He's not got what it takes for a relegation battle. He doesn't.
So
We're
for me,
seeing
it's
it, guys.
for
Look-
me. So,
look
so
at-
I
look at the-
understand.
look at the- Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, and I agree. Something has to change. So for me, my ideal would be either the change would be we get a load of players back, so we actually have options, or we start make signings. Now, at the moment, those two things are not happening, right? And if those are going to continue to not happen, then I think he might have to go, because I agree. I don't think he's a manager for a relegation battle. Now, let's talk with facts. Right now we're 8 points still outside the relegation zone after today, because Leicester were actually 10 points behind us. So I think we're still 8 points clear of Wolves. We are a week away. Potentially, we've seen Romero and Van der Ven back on the pitch training. We're hoping to, Basuma was on the bench today. Hopefully, I don't know. I know Maddison dropped out, but apparently the reports are he'll be back next week. We are on the precipice, I'm hoping, of having some options and having players back into this squad. And maybe in the last week of the window, we might get a signing or two. If by next week these players are available and maybe we have a signing, do you not think there's any chance that our form might change?
No, because what's going to happen is, and I said this was going to happen, is for every player that comes back, another one gets injured.
Yep.
We're hoping that suddenly 7 players all come back and no one else gets injured. The current situation is, look, we lost Maddison today, we lost Spence today, right? We're still losing. So Richarlison comes back, Solanke goes, Bentancur comes back, Maddison goes. So no, Sim, I don't think we're going to get what you think. And regarding signings, who in their right mind wants to sign for Spurs that is of any quality?
But doesn't that go for the managers as well, Stel? Doesn't that go for the managers as well? Because you've seen Jose been sacked, Poch been sacked, Conte been sacked, being unsuccessful. Now Ange, Stellini, Mason.
Yeah, but that's why I just said. Yeah, but that's why I just said, putting my dreams to one side, realistically, you bring in a manager just to stable the ship, just to put some freaking common sense and seriousness back into the circus that we've become.
So you just bring in Harry for 5 months?
I think it's one solution. If there's another manager that other people think that can do that, then I'm on board with it.
If in a miracle
the
situation,
no illusion, guys, we're in free fall. I think fans are dismissing it. I think fans are pretending it's not happening.
Mate, after
Everton,
I realised we're in a relegation fight. People are saying, nah, we're not too big to get. I said, after Everton, we are in a relegation battle. What if in a miracle situation, we could get Thomas Frank through the door next week and he'll come in? Would you take that?
100%.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. Listen,
Okay.
If you look at the fixtures coming up for Spurs, right? If you look at the fixtures coming up, forget the cups. I'm just talking about the league. We've got Brentford away, who just beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, and
Fantastic team.
Especially at home, right?
Yep.
Then we've got Man United, which is another 6-point relegation battle. Ipswich away, Bournemouth, Fulham, Chelsea, Man City. Guys, I said this is the only game I thought maybe we could get something from. If we can't beat Leicester at home, where are we getting points from? And this isn't me being fear-mongering or drama queen behaviour. I'm being serious. Out of all the relegation teams, and I repeat, Spurs and Southampton are bottom. Out of 12 games, which is 26 points, Southampton have picked up 2 and Spurs have picked up 4. Leicester and Ipswich are in better form than Spurs. Something has to change. Sim, buddy, we're not going to sign any players of any worth. It's not happening. And we're certainly not going to get the amount of players back that maybe you hope we're going to get without further, damage to the existing squad. So something has to change. And I look at Ange, he looks broken. He looks like lost. He doesn't know what to do with this situation, because if you look at his entire history as a manager, he's never ever been in this situation. Never. And he was brought in to entertain and play gung-ho football. This isn't a gung-ho situation, guys. Forget me not wanting Ange at the club. Forget all the times I've called in and said, get him out, get him out. Just on a relegation fight perspective, he has to go. And I think he might actually get the sack this time. I think he genuinely might get the sack tonight or tomorrow.
Me too.
Wouldn't be surprised. Look, Stel, appreciate your time as always, mate, coming on, giving your opinion. Speak to you very soon, mate.
Forget about Spurs until Thursday, still, if possible.
Try.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
Take it easy.
Good one.